She said it will never go away. I know there is nothing left to say. Can we try to hold on just for now, even if we don't know how to show them what we're all about? They said they won't let us go ahead. Red lights, should we just go back instead? Can we try to hold on just for now, even if we don't know how to show them what we're all about? We just have to sail away, leave the anchor, we won't stay. Words may be leading tracks, but we've got the wind at our backs. We just have to sail away, leave the anchor, we won't stay. Words may be leading tracks, but we've got the wind at our backs. We just have to sail away, leave the anchor, we won't stay. Words may be leading tracks, but we've got the wind at our backs.
One moment. My tablet has decided to no longer recognize that Twitch is a real website, and I can't really blame it if I'm being honest. I definitely have had that feeling more than once. Ugh. Just gave myself a migraine shot and left a welt. I would honestly rather have real needles than these really expensive auto-injectors. Oh, fuck. Now I'm just waiting for my tablet to start up again. I'll just bring it up on my phone while my tablet struggles. Poor thing. No, don't open up someone else's Overwatch stream. I really fucking hate that Twitch does this and I haven't found a way to stop it. Stop it. That one's on me. That was just it echoing back at me. Are the auto-injectors preloaded? Yes. Which is the one real advantage. But they're also, depending on what you can do at what organizations, run a minimum of about $40 to a maximum of about $1,500. So that sucks. And the pharmacy at my clinic does not do vials. So I'm very cross. Or I'm just waiting for my tablet to restart. There we go. Okay, it's up now. It hasn't been restarted in like several weeks, so I can't really blame it for slowing down. It's usually my additional stream monitor. It's good to have at least a couple of them going. Wait a second. Why is it in airplane mode? Was that the problem? Yeah, that was the problem. So it wasn't even Twitch's fault this time. It was just I'd somehow accidentally set it to airplane mode, probably by bumping it. So that's on me. So anyway, one of these days I'm going to talk so much we won't get to streaming at all. I need a co-host so that we can just bullshit back and forth. Right, come on, set. There we go. All right, here we go. Let's pretend this was all correct in the first place. La da 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 da. Good evening, my name is Sue and I hate video games. As you can see, I am a marionette. I can only hate video games as much as the one who controls me, the one who pulls my springs? Pulls my strings. And you know who that is? God. No one can hate video games more than God. At least that's the impression I got growing up in the 90s. Most of you have probably heard of Night Trap. That was a wild time in history. They just, first of all, refused to let the developers of Night Trap into the courtroom. And then these executive representatives of all these companies just came into the courtroom and lied to America for fucking 8 hours or whatever. It was wild. Alright, so, yeah, normally I would play a video game here, but instead we're going to play a game book that is then projected onto a video screen by my computer, which I guess technically makes this a video game. If you've never heard of Lone Wolf, it is a series of game books from the 80s, similar to something like Fighting Fantasy. Oh, fuck, did I forget to... Alright, I forgot to make a character sheet. Fucking hell. Oh my god, of course I forgot something really important. Lone Wolf character sheet. Just look this up on the internet. Alright. So here we go. There's, I think, 5 or 6 story arcs, and we're of course starting at the very beginning. And I'm gonna need this, what's it called? I'm gonna need this character sheet over here. Let's see. Can I shrink this down enough to... First, I'm going to have to save it. Download. There we go. Now we hit open file. Open in Sumatra. Thank you. There we go. Right, the most important part of this, I managed to flub right at the start. All right, so let's put that there. I can skinny this up a bit. There we go. All right. Now I gotta actually find the... Okay, just let me go to the base page of the whole shebang. Okay, we'll learn this together. Huh, I messed up that label. That's okay. All right, there we go. Let's see. No redistribution. That's fine. Here's the base package is the glue that helps you navigate. Project Aeon. Open the file named index in your favorite browser. This is usually a symbol from there. Be presented with a list of books currently available. If you click on one of the links and your browser reports the files not found, visit the website. Okay. Oh, here we go. StatsKeeper. StatsKeeper is a free program that enables you to keep track of your character's statistics across books. Okay. Here we go. Our first... Okay. Select a Lone Wolf adventure book from 1 to 28. Can do. We're starting with 1. All right, but I thought I was supposed to be... Oh, okay. The character sheet is actually right there. Which means I don't need 3 windows, I guess. Ah, whoops. Yeah, I just did that. Okay, here we are. Gonna... Do I have an instruction here? Browser needs to be able to run JavaScript and allow it in local files. Your browser doesn't support JavaScript frames in local files. Okay. You're using StatsKeeper from our website. This will not be an issue, but if you downloaded it... Okay. Provided a workaround so you can still use StatsKeeper, but it will require a little extra effort. I should have done this before, but it hadn't even occurred to me. Need to manually set the series of the book you're reading in the Game tab. Need to manually record the section number you leave the book at. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so in the Game tab, and then I have to... Okay, let's see if I can just run StatsKeeper off the internet. Oh, this is a bit of a clusterfuck. All right, from Project Aeon, first hit. StatsKeeper 2. Okay. So apparently I have to do this. That's probably... It will not change your online browsing experience. This setting only affects the way Firefox secured files stored and opened from your computer. Well, okay. God damn it. Oh, alright. Alright, here we go. We got this. Go to About. Config, I assume? Alright, set that to false. Theoretically, it should... Online Stats Keeper should work now. And that just tells me to download it rather than use it online. Okay. Well, this is a clusterfuck. Alright, you know what? Let's just open the game up in, I don't know, Edge. How does that sound? Not ideal by any stretch. But better than nothing. Oh my god, I hate this giant blast of news page here. Alright, so we start running Stats Keeper. There. Start at Lone Wolf. Your browser doesn't support JavaScript across frames in local files. So apparently, it doesn't work in Edge either. I don't even know if I have Chrome on here. It probably doesn't allow it either, though. Yeah, didn't think so. Oh my god. Wow, I tried to open it in Firefox now and Firefox crashed. That was incredible. Looks like it's working now, though. I have to fire up one of my work machines. Edge is not on Linux, yeah. Okay. Save slot here. Now, how do I create a new character? We can hit create a random character. I don't know how many of these things I'm supposed to pick. They're gonna tell me in the game. Let's scroll forward a few pages and find out. Okay, it does have it in the game. All right. All right, we're more or less set now. OBS browser source. That'd be a hell of a thing, though I believe it runs through. Actually, I don't know what it runs through. But, yeah, here we go. Make the dice bigger. There we go, alright. Now, let's pretend that none of that happened. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Red lights. Should we just go back instead? Good evening, my name is Sue, and I hate video games. Let's play some fucking Lone Wolf. Let's go! Alright. Title page, here we go. You are Lone Wolf. In a devastating attack, the Dark Lords have destroyed the monastery. You are learning the skills of the Kai Lords. You are the sole survivor. In flight from the dark, you swear revenge, but first you must reach Homeguard to warn the king of the gathering evil. Relentlessly, the servants of darkness hunt you across your country, and every turn of the page presents a new challenge. Choose your skills and your weapons carefully, for they can help you succeed in the most fantastic and terrifying journey of your life. Joe Dever. Dever? I don't know how to say his name. The creator of the best-selling Lone Wolf adventure books and novels has achieved worldwide recognition in 3 creative fields. So this is just masturbatory. He's done a lot of cool art stuff. Dedication to Mel and Yin. Acknowledgements. Credits. So we've got credits page here. So that's pretty cool. Here we go. In the northern land of Sommerland, it has been a custom for many centuries to send children of the warrior lords to the monastery of Kai. There they are taught the skills and disciplines of their noble fathers. The Kai monks are masters of their art, and the children in their charge love and respect them in spite of the hardships of their training. For one day, when they have finally learned the secrets of the Kai, they will return to their homes, equipped in mind and body, to defend themselves against the constant threat of war from the Dark Lords of the West. In olden times, during the Age of the Black Moon, the Dark Lords waged war on Sommerland. The conflict was a long and bitter trial of strength that ended in victory for the Sommerlending at the Great Battle of Mockinggorge. King Ulnar, this is really difficult to read all of these foreign and or made-up words as someone with dyslexia, so I apologize if I stumble a lot. King Ulnar and the allies of Doranmore broke the Darkland armies at the pass of Moitura and forced them back into the bottomless abyss of Mockinggorge. Vashna, mightiest of the Dark Lords, was slain upon the sword of King Ulnar, called Sommersword, the Sword of the Sun. Since that age, the Dark Lords have vowed vengeance upon Sommerland and the House of Ulnar. Now it is the morning of the Feast of Femern, when all of the Kai Lords are present at the monastery for the celebrations. Suddenly, a great black cloud comes from the western skies. So many are the numbers of the black-winged beasts that fill the sky that the sun is completely hidden. The Dark Lords, ancient enemy of the Sommerlending, are attacking. War has begun. On this fateful morning, you, Silent Wolf, the name given to you by the Kai, have been sent to collect firewood in the forest as a punishment for your inattention in class. As you're preparing to return, you see to your horror a vast cloud of black, leathery creatures swoop down and engulf the monastery. Dropping the wood, you race to the battle that has already begun. But in the unnatural dark, you stumble and strike your head on a low tree branch. As you lose consciousness, the last thing that you see in the poor light is the walls of the monastery crashing to the ground. Many hours pass before you awake. With tears in your eyes, you now survey the scene of destruction. Raising your face to the clear sky, you swear vengeance on the Dark Lords for the massacre of the Kai warriors. And with a sudden flash of realization, you know what you must do. You must set off on a perilous journey to the capital city to warn the king of the terrible threat that now faces his people. For you are now the last of the Kai. You are now the lone wolf. So this is a kid, right? Like literally, he's like 14 or 15 years old. And he winds up being the last of his people because of inattention, ignorance, and accident. So that's already a strong start. You can keep a record of your adventure on the action chart. During your training as a Kai Lord, you have developed fighting prowess, combat skill, and physical stamina, endurance. Before you set off on your adventure, you need to measure how effective your training has been. To do this, take a pencil and, with your eyes closed, point the blunt end of it onto the random number tail. If you pick 0, it counts as 0. Alright, the random number table... Oh my god. I do believe it comes out to just being a D10. For some reason, I had thought this game used D6s, but apparently not. So let's add some glittery D10s. If someone wants to do the math, why is it not? Okay, apparently it can only carry so many dice. Well, let's just have 2 D10s and 2 D6s until we need to otherwise. In some cases it counts as 10, yes, like Willow said. The least of these, yep. Alright, the first number you pick on this table in this way represents your combat skill. Add 10 to the number you picked and write the total in the combat skill section of your action chart. Alright, here we go. Oh, whoops. Fuck. No. Add. There. We're fine now. Done. Alright, here we go. This is a big roll we're doing right here. Fingers crossed that we get a 9. Well, shit. You know what? Since we're just starting out, I'm gonna take a reroll on that, okay? Mostly because it didn't actually roll. That's true, it's not 0. If we roll a 0 this time, though... Isn't there... There we go. This is to make sure it actually rolls. Alright, if we roll a 0, though, we gotta take it. 8, that's much better. Alright, so... Our combat skill, innate, is 18. Good job, Stanley. And the first number that you pick from the random number generator, yada yada. When you fight, your combat skill will be pitted against that of your enemy. The second number is endurance. Add 20 to this number and write the total endurance in your action chart. So that's basically HP, if I recall. Adjust combat skill according to this change. Yes. There, oh, okay, it filled in the 18 current for me. Alright, this time we have 27. There we go. If you are wounded in combat, you will lose endurance points. If at any time your endurance points fall to 0 or below, you are dead, and the adventure is over. Lost endurance points can be regained during the course of the adventure, but your number of endurance points can never go above the number with which you start your adventure. I'm glad I caught that was a Stanley Parable reference. Otherwise, I would have used the wrong voice. Alright, so we have 27 HP. Over the center, we got good stats here, despite that one we started with. Never gonna hear the end of that from theoretical internet strawman. Over the centuries, the Kai monks have mastered the skills of the warrior. These skills are known as the Kai disciplines, and they are taught to all Kai lords. You have learned only 5 of the skills listed below. The choice of which 5 skills these are is for you to make, as all the disciplines may be of use to you at some point for this perilous quest. Pick your 5 with care. The correct use of a discipline at the right time can save your life. When you have chosen your 5, and if I recall, they do actually get a lot of mileage out of these in this first story arc. The correct use of a discipline, yada yada. Okay, when you've chosen your 5 disciplines, enter them in the Kai discipline section of your action chart. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Like, I know it's really just for mechanical sake, but like, honestly, it adds to the world building in its own little way, and I think that's grand. All right, so our options are camouflage. That's for hiding, if you didn't know. Specifically, it's for hiding in plain sight, so to speak. Just like camo is in real life. Just blend into the background. All right, we've then got hunting, which allows you to never starve in the wild, which means no need for a meal when instructed to eat. Now, if you run out of food and you're instructed to eat, then you will lose HP. You will lose endurance. Except in areas of wasteland and desert, which does come up later. Then we've got Sixth Sense. This skill may warn a Kai Lord of imminent danger. It may also reveal the true purpose of a stranger or strange object encountered in your adventure. You choose this skill, right? So that's basically Spidey Sense. Tracking allows you to make the correct choice of a path in the wild. Healing allows you to heal yourself. And then we have we actually regain 1 HP for each page we turn without combat in it. So that's pretty sweet. Honestly, all of these are pretty strong. Then there's weapon skill. And weapon skill is a random weapon. We get if you choose this skill, right, weapon skill, yada yada. I don't know if you can pick it more than once. If you pick axe, you're lucky enough to be skilled in the one weapon Lone Wolf is carrying at the start of the adventure. That's cute. Camouflage and healing sounds like it might be a powerful combination. I think you could be right there. Looks like you can only pick 1 weapon skill, and you can only ever carry 2 weapons at a time. Alright, Mind Shield. The Dark Lords and many evil creatures in their command have the ability to attack you using their Mind Force, which is psychic attacks, basically. And then you can also have a psychic attack, which gives you +2 combat skill with Mind Blast. There's Animal Kinship that allows a Kai Lord to communicate with some animals, which is, of course, one we took when we did the video game version a few years ago. I think we picked healing as well, and it was still, ooh, it was a drudge sometimes. Then we've got Mind Over Matter, which isn't what you think, and in fact, it's literally using your mind to have control over matter. Can you get more skills, or do you just have the 5? I'm not sure. I believe that when we go into Magna Chi, we automatically have all of them, but I'm not 100% on that. I think for the first 5 books, we only get these 5, but I may be wrong. Nope, it says right there, you get to add a 6th skill when you get to book 2. So each book in the original 5 gives you another point, but that means that by the end you have 9 out of 10. Right, okay, so that page. What 5 skills do we want out of that? I would like to leave a lot of this up to y'all in the chat. I think that that's going to make things interesting. Bad Road, are you good on camouflage and healing? Axe seems obvious. Well, we don't get to pick the axe necessarily, but we do get to take weapon skill and hope for the axe. Alright, Willow says 6th sense. We'll take a weapon skill. And then we will shake the die. Oh, not... I guess we could count that as our roll. That would be the dagger, but it didn't fucking roll and I wasn't trying to roll it. I'm gonna... Am I taking too many liberties with the dice? Here, let's shake it around. The controls on this thing are a little strange. Oh, that's coming through the mic. I should definitely plug in the headphones. Mulligan away? Alright. Alright, let's see what weapon. Dropping a die is distinct from rolling it. Thank you. Alright, our weapon is the sword. It's no axe, but it'll do. Weapon skill in sword. There we go. Oh, you can actually just hit select random weapon, but we're using the dice. We got this. I'm gonna drink some of Alice's apple juice. She said I could. Mox got her just this big thing of little individually packed apple juices for her birthday. It was so sweet. Hunting seems like a good choice, alright. And do we want the last 2 to be camouflage and healing, as Bad Road said? Or does anyone have something else that they would like to suggest, especially Bad Road? Ooh, cider's good. Healing seems good, but I think tracking might be better than camouflage. Alright. See, I kind of want animal kinship, and no one's gone in there, but maybe we can take that for the second book. Alright, we're gonna hit healing. Oh yeah, American eggnog is like 80% corn most of the time. Healing and kinship could work. Right, well, everyone's got an ace here. So... yeah, I kind of want to take animal kinship. American food is 80% corn. I mean, you're not wrong. Alright, I'm taking animal kinship, just because I've always loved, you know, animals. Alright, here we go. Equipment. You're dressed in the green tunic and cloak of a Kai initiate. I believe this came out 1 year after The Legend of Zelda. Legend of Zelda... Legend of Zelda 80, 85, 86? Because this is 84. Let's see. Probably should look at the Western release. Late 85? Alright, this came first then. Is that for Japan or the States or Europe? This says Japan, it's 1986 February. And then North America was 1987. So Wikipedia says February 86. All right. So yeah, this came first. Legend of Zelda ripped off Lone Wolf Sentut. Oh, fuck. Alright, you have little with you to arm yourself for survival. All you possess is an axe, note under weapons on your action chart. But not... Oh, cool. This actually has a section specifically for combat there. Okay, if I zoom out, I can see more of the bottom frame, but it's going to be a bit harder for me to read. It was really new when you played it first. Hell yeah. Alright, I don't see... I'm guessing it goes in backpack because it doesn't have a weapons section. Special items? Oh, here we go. It's under special items. Alright, so all we possess is an axe. And a backpack containing 1 meal. One meal. Hanging from your waist is a leather pouch containing gold crowns. To find out how many, pick a number from the random number table. That equals the number of gold crowns you possess at the start of the adventure. It doesn't say whether it counted as 0 or 10, but I'm assuming that it's going to be count 0 as 0 again. Gold crowns, we now have 7. There we go. You discover amongst the smoking ruins of the monastery a map of Sommerland. Under special items that take up space. I assume that it takes up space because it doesn't say it doesn't. Map of Sommerland. Showing the capital city of Holmgard and the land of Duranor far to the east. You place the map inside your tunic for safety. You'll also find one of the following. Oh, look at that. If we roll a 1, then we'll find a sword. Now we have lots of options, though. Alright, here we go. What are we gonna find? That's a 4. 4, chainmail waistcoat, special items. This adds 4 endurance points to your total. Chainmail waistcoat plus 4 EN. And now we scroll back to character and we have modifier 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. Hell yeah! Okay, it doesn't even count. Counts as worn on the body, not placed in the backpack. So yeah, it's under special items. You don't need to make notes, but you can refer back to this list in the course of your adventure. Alright. It's a fancy waistcoat with a jagged lower edge. I mean, you're right. You're definitely right. Alright. Special items are not carried in the backpack. When you discover a special item, you will be told how to carry it. Okay, so that does not take up space. There we go. And nor does the map of Sommerland, because it's carried in your tunic. Gold crowns are always carried in the belt pouch. It'll hold a maximum of 50 crowns. And we got food carried in your backpack, counts as 1 item. Each meal counts as 1 item. So food can get heavy very quickly. Any item that may be of use and can be picked up on your adventure and entered into the action chart is given capital letters in the text. Unless you are told it is a special item, carry it in your backpack. Okay, let's see. Weapons aid you in combat. If you have the Kai discipline of weapon skill on the correct weapon, it adds 2 points to your combat skill. If you enter combat with no weapons, deduct 4 from combat skill and fight with your bare hands. If you find a weapon during the adventure, you may pick it up and use it. You only use 1 weapon at a time in combat. So our combat skill with the axe is just straight up our combat skill. Alright, backpack items, special items, gold crowns, food. If you do not have any food when instructed to eat a meal, you lose 3 endurance. If you've chosen hunting as one of your 5 skills, you will not need to tick off a meal when instructed to eat. Okay, so the meals themselves don't matter, so we can toss that at some point. Healing potions restore 4 endurance to your total. Rules for combat. Sequence of combat is as follows. Add any extra points gained through your disciplines to your current combat skill total. Subtract the combat skill of your enemy from the total. The result is your combat ratio. Enter it into the action chart. Okay, combat skill of 17. He subtracts the Winged Devil's combat skill from his own, giving him a combat ratio of -3. When you have your combat ratio, pick a number 1 to 10. Turn to the combat results table. Along the top of the chart are shown the combat ratio numbers. Oh god, this is more complicated than I remembered. Alright, so we would enter our combat ratio here. So let's do this as a test. What is EP? Does that even matter yet? Oh, that's endurance points, right. Sure, let's put in 10 there. This is only a contest, no real EP lost. Okay. The combat ratio. So I think this is just going to automate all of it. Oh, that's true. We should carry the meal in case we end up in the wastelands. Alright, well, we'll figure out combat when we get there. It looks like it's mostly automated here. During your adventure, you may be given a chance to evade combat. If you've already engaged in a round of combat and decide to evade, calculate the combat for that round in the usual manner. All points lost by the enemy as a result of that round are ignored, and you make your escape. Only Lone Wolf may lose endurance points during that round, but then that is the risk of running away. You may only evade if the text of the particular section allows you to do so. Alright. The following table is a guide to the ranks and titles bestowed upon the Kai Lords. Here we go. Beyond the basic skills of the Kai Master await the secrets of the higher Kai disciplines or Magna Kai. Those don't matter yet. Kai Wisdom. Your mission will be one of great danger. For the Dark Lords and their servants are a cruel and fierce enemy who give and expect no mercy. Use the map to help you steer a correct course for the capital. Make notes as you progress through the story, for they will be of great help in future adventures. Many things that you find will aid you during adventure. Some special items will be of use in future Lone Wolf adventures, and others may be red herrings of no real use at all, so be selective in what you decide to keep. There's many routes to the king, but only one involves a minimum of danger. With a wise choice of Kai disciplines and a great deal of courage, Any player should be able to complete this mission no matter how weak their initial combat skill or endurance points score. The honor and memory of the Kai Lords will go with you on your perilous journey. Why does this say I have combat skill 18? Well, that's supposed to be 17. I thought. No, 7 was our second roll. Silly me. Alright. You must... Okay, now the story's actually starting. You must make haste, for you sense it is not safe to linger by the smoking remains of the ruined monastery. The black-winged beasts could return at any moment. You must set out for the Sommerlanding capital of Holmgard and tell the king the terrible news of the massacre. That the whole elite of Kai warriors, save yourself, have been slaughtered. Without the Kai Lords to lead her army, Sommerland will be at the mercy of the ancient enemy, the Dark Lords. Not the most original name. Fighting back tears, you bid farewell to your dead kinsmen. Silently, you promise that their deaths will be avenged. You turn away from the ruins and carefully descend the steep track. At the foot of the hill, the path splits into 2 directions, both leading into a large wood. We don't have Sixth Sense, so we gotta pick right or left. Cider and a cosmic brownie in this economy? Alright. Shall we go left or right? Oh, well shit. Yes, we do. Okay. I also want to say, I get more absent-minded on the migraine medicine. Alright, so we're going to turn to 141. Conveniently and with a click. Your sixth sense has warned you that some of the creatures that attacked the monastery are searching the 2 paths for any survivors of their raid, but you can avoid both tracks by making your way through the undergrowth of the woods. So we can head south, or we can cut through the heavier foliage toward the northeast. So let's do that. You have cut your way through the thick undergrowth for nearly half an hour, and you hear the beat of wings high above the trees. Looking up, you can just make out the shape of the Kron approaching from the north. It is one of the monsters that attacked the monastery, and on its back are 2 gray-skinned creatures armed with long spears. These are Mountain Jacks, evil servants of the Dark Lords, full of hatred and malice. Many centuries ago, their ancestors were used by the Dark Lords to build the infernal city of Helgedod, which lies in the volcanic wastelands beyond the Durnkrag range of mountains. The construction of the city was long and torturous, and only the strongest of the Jacks survived the heat and poisonous atmosphere of Helgedod. Hidden by the trees, you freeze, keeping absolutely still as the Kron passes overhead and disappears toward the south. When you're sure that it is gone, you move off once again into the forest. You have covered about a quarter mile when you hear shouting and a noise like thunderclaps ahead. Edging nearer, you soon make out a clearing that you recognize to be the site of the ruins of Ramus, an ancient forest temple. A war party of Jacks, some 25 to 30 strong, are attacking the ruins from all sides. Many more of the Jacks are dead or dying amongst the broken pillars of marble, but still they assault whatever is hidden inside. Suddenly, a bolt of blue lightning rips through the front rank of Jacks, sending the armor-clad creatures tumbling in all directions. A Jack taller than the others and dressed from head to toe in black chainmail curses at his troops as he whips them forward with a barbed flail. With the weapon ready, you move to the edge of the clearing, under cover of the thick foliage, and try to catch a glimpse of the defenders. To your amazement, the ruins are being defended by a young man no older than yourself. You recognize his sky-blue robes, embroidered with stars, He's a young Thurgist of the Magicians Guild of Tehran, an apprentice in magic. Look at that, we get pictures. Hell yeah. All the best books have pictures. A young Thurgist of the Magicians Guild of Tehran, illustration 9. 5 jacks charge forward, their spears raised to stab the apprentice as he hurriedly retreats deeper into the ruins. You see him turn and raise his left hand just before a bolt of blue flame shoots from his fingertips into the snarling jack soldiers. Close to where you're hidden, you see a jack scuttle past and climb one of the pillars of the temple. He has a long curved dagger in his mouth and he's about to jump on the young wizard standing below. We can shout a warning to the young wizard, we can run forward and attack the jack when he jumps, or we can pick up a chunk of the temple marble and throw it at the jack's head, or we can turn and leave the battle area and run back into the woods. Let's hear some opinions. We can warn the wizard. We can run in and tackle this guy about to fucking jump on him. We can pick up a chunk of marble and throw a rock at him. Beekeeper says throw the rock. Or we can turn tail and run. Rock or attack? Alright. It sounds like Rock is winning out. Rock sounds good? Excellent. I threw a rock at him. Pick a number from the random number table. Alright, we're rolling a d10. I believe we need 3 to 9 in order to hit. That's an 8. With a sickening thud, the chunk of marble cracks open the back of the jack's head. The creature drops to its knees and slowly falls forward, down to the ruins below. Elated by your skill, you race forward to aid the young wizard. Good call, y'all. Upon seeing you emerge from the woods, the jack officer shouts, "Oh God! Oh God!" to his cowering troops, who flee the ruins and run to the safety of the forest. Shaking his mailed fist at you, the black-clad jack screams, "Raneg Rogag Ok! Orgadaka Okak Rogag Gadj!" I believe a lot of this is actually translatable, but I have no idea how. The funny thing is, that line wasn't actually delivered by Killer Croc. Yep, it was Batman disguised as Killer Croc. Oh, fuck. That's such a good episode. Surveying the scene of battle, you count over 15 jack dead lying among the broken pillars of Rhomus. The young wizard wipes his brow and walks toward you, his hand extended in friendship. He's a young blonde-haired youth with deep, brooding eyes. His face is lined with exhaustion and the grime of battle, and his long sky-blue robes bear evidence of living rough in the wilds. He shakes your hand and bows. "My eternal thanks, Kai Lord. My powers are nearly drained. Had you not come to my aid, I fear I would have ended my days atop a jack lance." He's weak and unsteady on his feet. You take his arm and sit him down upon a fallen pillar, where you listen intently to what he has to say. "My name is Bonadon. Banedon? We're gonna go with Banadon. Banadon? We'll go with Banadon. My name is Banadon. I am journeyman to the Brotherhood of the Crystal Star, which is the Magicians Guild of Tehran. My guildmaster sent me to your monastery with this urgent message." He removes a vellum envelope from inside the robes and hands it to you. Oh no. As you see, I've opened the letter and read its contents. When the war started, I was on the highway with 2 traveling companions. The Kron attacked us when we lost each other in the forest during our escape. The letter is a warning to the Kai Lords that the Dark Lords have mustered a vast army beyond the Derncrag range. The Guildmaster urges the Kai to cancel the celebrations of Feymarn. Prepare for war. That's depressing, huh? I fear we were betrayed, says Banadon, his head bowed in sorrow. One of my order, a brother called Vonatar, explored the forbidden mysteries of the Black Art. 10 days ago, he denounced the Brotherhood and killed one of our elders. He's since disappeared. It's rumored that he now aids the Dark Lords. You tell Banadon what has happened at the monastery, and of your mission to warn the king. Silently, he removes a gold chain from around his neck and hands it to you. On the chain is a small crystal star pendant. It is a symbol of my brotherhood, and we are both truly brothers in this hour of darkness. It is a talisman of good fortune. May it protect you on the road ahead. You thank him and place the chain around your neck, and slip the crystal star inside your shirt. Remember to mark this on your action chart. Can I just click that? No, that didn't. Now to go under special items. No, it doesn't fill it in automatically. I was hoping. Crystal star. Banadon bids you farewell. We must leave this place lest the Jacks return with more of their loathsome kind to put an end to us. I must return to my guild. I bid you farewell, my brother. May the luck of the gods go with you. With a wave of his hand, Banadon leaves the ruins, and you continue your mission, pushing on through the thick woods ahead. You've not gone far when you realize several pairs of yellow eyes are watching you from the undergrowth to the left. Suddenly, a black arrow skims the top of your head. It is a Jack ambush, and you must run as fast as you can to escape it. As you race through the trees, you can hear the horrible cackle of the Jacks close behind you. Soon, the trees start to thin out, and directly ahead, you can see a rocky hillside. So do we break cover and climb the hill, or do we change direction and continue our run through the forest? No mention of disciplines here. I feel like climbing the hill in this case might be unwise, but we'd certainly be able to move faster. Either could be unwise, depending on who we're running from. They've got archers. Stay in the forest, stay in the forest. Alright. Let's stay in the forest then. Change direction and continue our run through the forest. Here we go. The mountain jacks are unaccustomed to pursuing their prey through the forests, and you soon outdistance them, until finally the sound of their grunts and curses disappears completely. Good call, y'all. When you're satisfied that they have given up the chase, you stop for a few minutes to catch your breath and check your equipment. With the memory of your ruined monastery still blazing in your mind, you gather up your meager belongings and push on. Just ahead, through the tall trees, you can see clumps of dark red gallowbrush, a thorny briar with sharp crimson barbs. The common name for this forest weed is sleeptooth, for the thorns are very sharp and can make you feel weak and sleepy if they scratch your skin. Okay, the Kai discipline of tracking. We did not take that. We ended up not taking tracking. Or we can avoid it by returning to the track, or we can push on through the briars deeper into the forest. So, how are y'all feeling about that one? We're basically risking giving up our cover or giving up our awakeness. We'll be sluggish if we're attacked if we continue through the forest. but we're a lot less likely to be spotted, at least in theory. Turn to the track. Sleeping seems like a problem. All right, unilateral? All y'all. All right, return to the track. Keeping a watchful eye on the sky above, you move quickly along the track. You recall that this route leads to the Fogwood, a small cluster of huts that have been used by a family of charcoal burners for nearly 50 years. After 20 minutes, you reach the edge of a clearing where the huts are grouped in a small circle. There's no sign of the usual mist of wood smoke, which gives Fogwood its apt name, and the huts are unusually quiet. Once again, we do not have tracking. So we prepare our weapon and stealthily approach the huts. Unanimous, thank you. Through the open doorway of the first hut, you can see the body of a charcoal burner lying face down on the rough stone floor. He's been murdered, stabbed in the back by a spear. All his furniture and belongings have been smashed and broken, and not one piece remains intact. This is the evil handiwork of Jax, without any doubt, for they delight in the destruction of all things. A quick check of the other huts reveals a similar story of murder and wreckage. In the last hut that you search, you discover a Jax spear. Proof of your suspicions. You may keep this weapon if you wish. We don't need a spear. The only weapon we need to pick up is a one-handed sword. More determined than ever now to succeed in your mission, you continue along the track. In the distance, perched on the branch of an old oak tree, is a jet-black raven. We do have animal kinship, so let's talk to this cool bird. The head of the bird slowly turns and it curses you. An instant later, it flies above the trees and has soon disappeared. Shocked by what you have heard, you are now sure that the fledgling was a scout of the Dark Lords and is now probably on its way to inform them of our whereabouts. Oh no, our love of animals has gotten us in trouble. Along the track or through the forest? Ooh, that's rough. That was rough. Whew. That's what I get for talking to birds. Through the forest, hide from birds. All right. I'm trying to go, there's 3 people giving input. I'm trying to wait for 2 votes. All right. Let's continue through the forest instead. For half an hour or more, you press on through the forest, through the rich vegetation and ferns. You happen upon a small, clear stream where you stop for a few minutes to wash your face and drink the cold, fresh water. Feeling revitalized, you cross the stream and press on. You soon notice the smell of wood smoke, which seems to be drifting towards you from the north. Shall we investigate the smell of wood smoke or avoid the smell of wood smoke? All right, we've got an investigate, 1 for investigate. All right, 2 investigates. Do that. Carefully parting the dense foliage, you're horrified by the sight that meets you. In a small clearing ahead, 3 Jacks have tied a man to a wooden stake and are setting fire to a mass of brushwood bundled at his feet. You recognize his tunic as that of a border ranger, one of the king's men who police the kingdom near the Derncrag Mountains of the west. Now, I'm going to be generous and assume that they don't try and keep people out of the mountains, but rather keep peace in those areas. Meaning he'd be a cop, but not one of the worst kind of cops, just a regular fucking terrible cop. He's been badly beaten and is nearly unconscious. We do have hunting, right? Yes, we do have hunting. So, apparently there is no... You're not allowed to not save this man. Unlike the wizard, you could just run away when the wizard kid was in trouble. Yeah. Hunting it is. Using the skills taught to you by your masters in the art of hunting, you inch your way through the foliage undetected. In less than a minute, you are directly behind, and only a few feet from the stake on which the ranger is tied. The wood is alight, and great clouds of smoke are engulfing the poor victim. You take your weapons and run forward, hidden by the smoke. One blow of your weapon is all that's needed to sever his bonds, and you pull him free and back into the safety of the forest. As you press on into the forest, you hear the shrieks of the Jacks as they discover that their prisoner have literally disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Also, I will say that the monsters being called Jacks kind of does make them cops too, right? What a world. What a world. The man is badly injured and near to death. You have the Kai discipline of healing, which we do. You may ease the pain of his wounds, but he has been so seriously hurt he is beyond repaired by your skills alone. He soon lapses into unconsciousness. You try to make him as comfortable as possible beneath a large forest oak before leaving and pressing on through the thick woodland toward the northeast. Damn, the fact that it actually says, if you have this, you can make him more comfortable, but he will ultimately die. That's pretty rough. Fatigued by your exertions, you stop to rest for a few minutes at a fallen tree. You notice a large bundle beneath the trunk. If you wish to examine the contents of the bundle, turn to 315. If you wish to leave it where it is and so do, we can check out the large bundle, or we can abandon the bundle. Always open the bundle. Yeah, we have no choice but to rescue him, but he dies anyway. Hell of a thing, that. All right, we've got one vote for open the bundle. It's a baby! Always open the bundle. All right, let's open the bundle. Wrapped in a bundle of women's clothing is a small velvet purse containing 6 gold crowns and a tablet of perfumed soap. You may take these items and continue on your journey. Alright, so... gold crowns, so we add 6, that brings us up to 13. And then... tablet of perfumed soap. I don't think I've ever... well, I mean, I have, because I've read this before. But I can't remember ever seeing a bar of soap referred to as a tablet before. You've been trudging through the forest for nearly 2 hours. The nagging fear that you're lost begins to seem a reality. Apart from the occasional cry of a Kron in the far distance, you have seen or heard no evidence that the enemy is in this part of the forest. As you descend a rocky hillock, you see something unusual in the tangled woods ahead. French milled soap was often in discs. Oh! Surrounded by thorny briars and closely packed roots, you see the entrance of a tunnel disappearing into the hillside beyond. It is approximately 7 feet in height and just over 10 feet wide. As you get closer, you can feel a slight breeze coming from the inky blackness. If the other end of the tunnel emerges on the far side of the hill, it could save you many hours of difficult climbing, but it could also harbor unknown danger. So we can enter the tunnel and hope it leads to somewhere useful, or climb the hillside. It's a hell of a choice to give someone. Alright, we've got one for climb. We got one for tunnel. Alright. We've got division. Alright, we got 2 for tunnel. Sorry, beekeeper. The tunnel is dark, and the air is much cooler than outside. You carefully advance with one hand on the tunnel wall to aid your sense of direction. You've been in total darkness for 3 minutes when you detect the foul smell of decay ahead, similar to rotting meat. If you have a torch and tinderbox in your pack, which we don't, you may light the torch to see your way ahead. Suddenly, something heavy drops from the tunnel ceiling onto your back and you fall to your knees. It's a burrow crawler and you must fight it, for it is trying to strangle you with its long, slimy tentacles. See, we shouldn't have taken the tunnel. Alright, deduct 3 points from your combat skill during this fight because it's dark. It's also immune to Mind Blast and Animal Kinship. Alright, let's see here. So, our current combat skill is going to be 15. The burrow crawlers is 17. 7 endurance. Additional endurance lost if you're a Grandmaster Sunlord with a metal weapon, which doesn't matter here. Ratio, we don't need to worry about ratios that high. Alright, here we go. Hit fight. We lost 3. Wait, no. No one lost any EP, I guess? Oh wait, no, we hit it for 4. Dyslexia. Willing to bet there was a combat encounter on the hill as well. There might have been. Alright. Once more. Enemy killed! Hell yeah! Didn't even lose any HP. Make sure. Okay, good. It did not move that, it didn't permanently change our combat skill, because that's just for this combat. Alright, turn to 319. The slimy creature lets out a long, ghastly death cry and collapses. You're near to panic and scramble to your feet, grabbing what you think to be your belt from the jaws of the dead beast. You can see light in the far distance, and you sprint for it as fast as you can. When you finally emerge into the daylight, you fall onto the leafy ground and fight for breath in painful gasps. Slowly sitting upright, you notice you're still wearing your belt. You had not lost it after all. What you grabbed from the jaw of the burrow crawler was a leather strap with a small pouch and a sheathed dagger halfway along it. You break open the clasp to find it contains 20 gold crowns. Well, we don't need the dagger. But 20 gold crowns, that brings us up to 33, and we can carry up to 50. Fuck yeah. Feeling a little better now, you gather your... So that turned out for the better. You gather your equipment together and push on eastward into the forest. The forest begins to thin out until finally you can make out a road through the trees ahead. The highway is full of people heading south. Many are wheeling their possessions along on handcarts. If you wish to join the refugees and perhaps learn more of what's happened in the north, or we could continue to move south under cover of the trees. Miss role-playing? Yeah, I feel ya. Alright, so we can get in with the refugees, or we can keep on sneaking through the forest. There's definitely safety in numbers, but there's also safety in not being seen. Become a hero of the people? I'll assume that's refugees. That means refugees. Oh, fuck. Wish there was a way I could spice up the combat a bit. It's just clicking a button, since it's all automated within the program. Any other votes? Information's power. All right. 2 votes for joining the refugees. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the reference. The people look tired and hungry. They've come many miles from their burning city. Suddenly, you hear the beat of huge wings coming from the north. Kron! Kron! Hide yourself! The cry goes up all along the road. Just in front of you, a wagon carrying small children breaks down, its right wheel jammed in a furrow. The children scream in panic. You can help the children or run for the cover of the... We're going to help the kids, obviously. I will not take any other option on this one. You sprint towards the wagon. People are running everywhere in panic as the Kron make their attack, carrying their poor victims off into the darkening sky. A large Kron is hovering above the wagon, and 3 snarling jacks drop from its back onto the startled horses. You must fight them or leave the wagon and run to the safety of the nearby farmhouse. So it changes where we're running to, but let's fight the jacks. The Firefly reference, gotcha. The ghoulish creatures thrust their spears at you and attack. Fight these creatures as a single enemy. Alright, so... Jacks. 15 combat skill. 13 endurance. And... Oh wait, we should have regained some endurance, shouldn't we have? We went through 4 sections. Right? Okay, we'll say we did. That's the trouble, it's not keeping track of the healing on its own. We have to do that. Alright. Reset this again. 15 and 13, let's go. Alright, we knocked the crap out of them, we took a little bit of damage. And again. Alright, we're at 20 and they're at 2, we've almost got this. And hey, we killed him. Currently at 16 endurance. We'll move over here. Now we can run to the safety of the farmhouse. Are we gonna... Did that get us anything? Or we can return to the woods. So that gives us the option to go back to the woods. Alright. Let's go to the farmhouse. Right? I don't want to go back to the woods right now. Alright. Alright, we can actually go all the way up to 31 as well. Because we got the +4. See what's in the farmhouse? Alright. I agree, so I'll count that as 2 votes. Kicking open the door, you dive into the farmhouse. A Kron soars overhead, letting out a shriek of victory. A victim hanging in its claws. Getting to your feet, you find yourself alone. But propped against the fireplace is a warhammer. You may take it if you wish. No, we just need a... What kind of fantasy game do we not find a regular-ass one-handed sword? Come on now. Alright, we can stay in the farmhouse. Run to the forest, or we can search the room that we're in. Right, 1 for search. That sounds like a plan to me, but search? Alright, let's do it. Point. Most of the cupboards and drawers are empty. Whoever lived here took nearly everything they owned with them. But you do manage to scrape together enough fruit in the cellar for 1 meal. Alright. There we go. Now we have 2 meals that we might never get to use. Right. After nearly an hour, the Kron and their cruel riders vanish toward the west. As the shocked refugees start to emerge from the woods, you can hear the sound of horses in the distance galloping nearer. You stay hidden and wait as the riders come closer. They're the cavalry of the King's Guard, wearing the white uniforms of His Majesty's army. We can call to them, or we can continue along the edge of the forest to the south. Interesting that they give us a choice there, huh? Abstain. All right, one for continuing on in at the edge of the forest. King is on our side in theory. All right, Bad Road says talk. Just abstain from choosing. Okay. All right, we have 1-4. If anyone else wants to pipe up, then all right, I will go with Bad Road's choice. Call to the guard. The officer orders his men to halt and asks you your business. You tell him who you are and how the monastery has been destroyed. He's deeply saddened to hear your news. He offers you a horse and asks you to accompany him to Prince Pelethar, the king's son. Shall we go see the king's son? Or just shrug and go, nah, I want to talk to the real McCoy. King McCoy, not Prince McCoy. I mean, it's one step closer at least. Yes, but Willow fears a trap. All right. Bad Road says talk to him. All right. Ahead of you, you can see a fierce battle raging across a stone bridge. The clash of steel and the cries of men and beasts echo through the forest. In the midst of the fighting, you see Prince Pelethar, the king's son. He is in combat with a large gray Gorgaz, who is wielding a black axe above his scaly head. Suddenly, the prince falls wounded, a black arrow in his side. Defend the fallen prince, or run into the forest again? Always sets us to 306 as well, you notice that? So it's just like, hey, you have every chance to back out of this. Well, I say we continue on the path we've chosen at this point. Alright, we've got, what, 2 more HP from there? There we go. The creature that you now face is a Gorgaz, one of a race of cold-blooded reptilian, literally cold-blooded reptilian creatures that dwell deep in the treacherous Mackadmire swamps. Their favorite food is human flesh. Most of them, anyway. I did meet one who was really into German chocolate cake, though. Just loved those coconut shreds. The prince's sword lies at your feet. You may pick it up and use the weapon if you wish, which gives us +2. So we are now even with our opponent. But we have a lot less HP. So this could end in tears. Alright, so they have 20. And we have 20. We're gonna also immune to Mind Blast. Seems like most things are at this point. Alright, whoa, they're down at 11 and we're at 19. Holy crap. Did I enter that correctly? Oh well, I'll trust the computer. Right? We're winning. Oh, left with 12 endurance. Well, we got there. One point. The giant Gorgaz lies dead at your feet. His evil followers hiss at you and then fall back from the bridge. The prince's soldiers form a protective wall around you and their dying leader with their shields. Black arrows whistle past your head. The dying prince looks up into your eyes and says, "Kai Lord, you must take a message to my father." Well, shit. You know what? We were going that way anyway. "The enemy is too strong. We cannot hold them. The king must seek that which is in Duranor, or all is lost. Take my horse and ride for the capital. May the luck of the gods ride with you." You bid a sad farewell to the prince, mount his white steed, head south along the forest path. The battle still rages behind you as the prince's men fight off another assault on the bridge. I'll assume that we're just allowed to keep the sword. We got a sword and a horse. I think that went pretty well for us, you know? You're right. Right. And the prince's horse is indeed a magnificent animal, fast and sure of foot. You gallop along the twisting track as if it were a straight highway until the noise of battle has disappeared far behind you. You're hungry and must eat a meal during your ride. Incorrect. After several miles, the path stops abruptly at a junction. There's a signpost, but it's been hacked down. Alright, we do not have tracking, so do we go left or right? That's the question. The prince was gonna die anyway. He got shot before we got here. I mean, you're right. We got a sword, a horse, and a dead monarch. Death comes from the left, as my old group always said. Oh. I've always heard that you should always go left first, so that you can find that extra bonus barrel. Alright, so I'm taking that as one turn to the right. Group says good adventurers go left. Well, I guess it's my choice in the end. I'm gonna say we go left because I like the number 32. It's assuming Beekeeper is not gonna chime in a vote. Or anyone else in the chat, if there is anyone. 32 is a good number. Hey, no worries, Beekeeper. I'm not trying to obligate you to be here or anything. Alright. Think we're going left in any case. You've ridden about 3 miles when, in the distance, you spot the unmistakable silhouette of 5 large doom wolves. Oh, my mistake. Riding on their backs are jacks. They seem to be going on ahead where the path leads down into an open meadow. Suddenly, one of the jacks leaves the others and begins to ride back along the path toward you. Hide in the undergrowth and let him pass, or jump out and fight him. Beekeeper says hide and wait. Which makes sense to me, especially since we only have 15 HP at the moment. We don't have camouflage. Alright, 3 hides. Let's hide. You hide behind some thick bushes so that the Doom Wolf and its rider will not see your white horse. Luckily, it works. The beast lopes past and vanishes down the track, and you have just come along. We can attack the remaining Doom Wolves or press on deeper into the forest. Another HP, of course. They're called Doom Wolves. You know, maybe they're overcompensating. Maybe they're not so bad. Maybe they call them Doom Wolves because they really like playing the hit 90s first-person shooter game Doom. Maybe they're friendly. Yeah, the main warning that I gave in the Slack, and I should have said it at the beginning. This does have racially innate alignment, which a lot of fantasy still does, and I think that's a goddamn shame. All right, Willow says forest, Bad Road says forest, let's forest. You ride deeper and deeper into the forest. Silently, you thank the prince for such a fine horse, for although the ground is a tangle of briars and roots, he never once falters. The Doom Wolves are soon left far behind, and you bring your horse to a halt. The light has faded fast, and it is almost night. We can press on, or we can bear left the same direction as the path you left far behind. Interesting. No option to set up camp either. I imagine traveling at night would be pretty dangerous out here. Alright, so back towards the path. Left makes sense since it's the direction we're heading. Haven't checked to see if you've been healing every... Oh, I missed that one, and I think the one before. Thank you for the reminder. Alright, bear left. You soon emerge from the woods onto a main highway. You recognize that it's been the main road between the port of Tehran in the north and the capital to the south. Spurring your horse on, you estimate you'll reach the capital by morning. Alright, I'm going to take a break really quick. Before we do that, I would like to remind you that there is a civil rights movement happening around the country and the wider world. Black Americans, people of color, are fighting for things that should never have to be fought for, like equal rights, equal treatment under the law, and not be attacked, terrorized, and even murdered by the police. We have listed here some ways that you can help. They include the Bail Fund Network to help keep protesters out of jail, the Okra Project and the Black Trans Travel Fund to help Black trans and non-binary people with food, supplies, and travel out of dangerous situations, and the Black Hills Legal Fund, the Lakota People's Fund to take back their land, the Six Grandfathers, which was stolen by white people, arbitrarily renamed to Mount Rushmore, and then had some white slave owners' faces carved into the side of it. Black Lives Matter, the lives of people of color matter, Indigenous lives and lands matter, Asian and Pacific Islander lives matter. These are things we have to keep saying and pushing and fighting for until the people all the way at the top not only understand and acknowledge them, but work to make them real protected truths. Alright, we're going to go to the break. I'll be back in about 5 minutes, if all goes well. So, see you back here then. And we're back. Hope y'all still doing good. Gonna get right back in. We watched the prince die, but we got a cool sword and a cool horse out of the deal. So, you know, that's pretty nice. And he wanted us to bring the message to the king that the thing we were bringing a message to the king about had happened. So I guess now we have double message. Let's go. Add that HP. As you ride along the highway, you notice that light is getting worse. It'll soon be completely dark and impossible to see any dangers that may lurk ahead. You decide to hide and rest at the wood's edge until morning. Wait, then that contradicts what we saw previously, what we read before. Oh well. When you're satisfied that no one can see you, you pull your warm green cloak around you and drift off into an uneasy sleep. 1 HP. You're awoken by the cries of Kron high above you in the clear morning sky. Rubbing your eyes, you peer upwards through the canopy of branches to see 3 of the loathsome creatures fly off toward the north. You're sure you have not been spotted, but perhaps it would be best to leave now just in case. You mount your horse and ride south along the highway. 1 HP. You've ridden several miles that have seen no signs of refugees or of the enemy. You race toward the high ridge in the middle distance. You should be able to see the capital from here. As you reach the peak, the sight that meets you on the far side is one of hope, but there's still one challenge you know you have to face. One HP. Before you are the tall gray-white walls and glimmering spires of Homeguard, the city's banners fluttering from the battlements in the fresh morning breeze. Stretching out toward the west, the river Eladiel traces its course from the mountains of the Derncrag Range to the Home Gulf. But below the mountain peaks, you can see a vast black army marching relentlessly on toward the capital. To your right, you can see the highway heading off over the rolling plain toward Homeguard. At a gallop, you could make the outer fieldworks of the city's defenses in less than an hour, but you would be in the open for most of that time and vulnerable to attacks by Kron. Directly ahead of you, a wide river drifts sluggishly towards Eladiel. If you abandon your horse, you could swim toward the outer defenses under the cover of the riverbanks. Or, there is a final alternative. To your left lies the graveyard of the ancients. These tombs are crumbling monuments to a forgotten age, which would conceal your approach, but it's a forbidden area. Many are the unnamed horrors that lie there in the restless sleep, waiting to consume unwary trespasser. Alright, so we have 3 options. We can be killed by Kron, drowning, or zombies. So that's really the choice here. Keep the horse for sure. All right, that rules out the river. So then we've got tombs or the wide open highway. Horse is a closet goth. Kron are the winged mounts of the Jack. They're big, scary pterodactyls. Graveyard for sure. All right. Let's hit that graveyard. As you descend the ridge toward the graveyard of the ancients, you're aware of a strange mist and cloud that swirls all around this gray and forbidding place, blocking the sun and keeping the graveyard in perpetual gloom. Oh, thank you. A creeping chill seems to penetrate your very bones. Your horse becomes startled, and no matter how you urge him on, he refuses to go any nearer the dreadful place. You must leave your horse anyway and press on by foot. Well, damn. The horse knows better than we do. HP. Your passage through the graveyard will not be easy, for the ground is broken and covered with a thorny graveweed. This wicked briar tears your cloak and cuts your legs. The air hangs heavy and still. Foul gases seep from the open crypts, and the haunting murmur of distant whispering fills your ears. Take a closer look at that one. That's pretty cool. Carefully, you approach a gap between two ancient pillars and part the graveweed with your cloaked hand. Suddenly, the ground collapses beneath you, and you fall in a tumble of earth and stone. HP up. We have animal kinship. We should be able to ask the horse for advice. I agree, but that's not how the book goes, sadly. You're winded, but not hurt. You've fallen 15 feet or so through the roof of an underground tomb. The walls are sheer and you cannot climb them. An arched tunnel leads out of the tomb toward the east, in front of which lies the sarcophagus of some ancient noble. If you wish to use the Kai discipline of Sixth Sense, ooh, really getting the mileage out of that Spidey sense, huh? Hell yeah. Your senses scream at you that this place is very evil. Leave as quickly as you can. The walls are dank and slimy. The stale air chokes you and the cobwebs brush across your face. You can feel panic grip your stomach as the tunnel gets darker and darker. You reach a junction where the tunnel meets a corridor leading from north to south. So we can turn north or south. Oh, thank you. Man, we'll be at max HP soon, and then I won't have to worry about it. So, obviously, south would theoretically be toward the capital. And north, maybe, yeah, that's a way out also. You never know in a place like this. They don't even let you use tracking. I assume because, you know, no one's walked here in like 150 years. And that was spiders. Before that, it was a couple thousand. Willow says south. Gonna make the executive decision to go with Willow's decision. 1 HP. The cold corridor suddenly makes an abrupt turning toward the east. You notice a greenish glow that lights the tunnel in the far distance. As you creep nearer, you can see that the corridor opens out into a larger chamber. The strange light seems to emanate from a large bowl resting atop a granite throne. On a plinth in front of the throne stands a statue. This is just tongue twisters. The strange light seems to emanate from a large bowl resting on top of a granite throne. On a plinth in front of the throne stands a statue. See, I can't say the whole thing. It looks like a winged serpent curved in the shape of an ass. Oh my god, it's Trogdor. Magnificent. Why do we have the option to sit on the throne? Who would do that? They're really giving us freedom of choice here, I guess. So we can sit on the throne, examine the statue, or look for an exit from the chamber. Our sixth sense did say get out of here as quickly as possible, but did that mean the whole tomb or just that specific room where we could have checked the sarcophagus? That's the question. Examine the statue or look for an exit? Admire Trogdor? Alright, we're gonna examine the statue. Let's do it. As you approach the statue, several cracks appear in its stone surface. It suddenly explodes before you as a real winged serpent, free of its stone mantle, and attacks you. Whoops. Alright, we don't get HP for this one because we got... also immune to Mind Blast. Alright, it's got 16, 18. Let's do it. 16, 18. Let's fight this Wingaling dragon. I should give it +2 because of that big muscly arm coming out the back of its neck, but you know. Alright, this one's a lot weaker than the last time we fought a guy who had the... This is a lot weaker than the Lizard Warrior. Alright. Alright, we got out of that. We're not too worse for wear. We knocked it down to -9. Alright, we're at 23. See, okay, good. And it does place that there. Good. Alright, so we fought the Wingaling dragon. We hit it right in its face. Right in its consummate V's. +1. As the beast writhes in its final death agony on the black stone floor, the portal in the east wall clicks open to reveal a corridor beyond. You quickly dash through the secret door just as it crashes back shut. See? You see ahead a corridor sloping upwards, and as you're in a maze of corridors all alike, and as you reach the top of the slope, a stone portal slides across to reveal another passage ahead. You step through the opening, which then quickly closes with a crunch. The corridor, +1, soon widens into a large hall. At the far end, a stone staircase leads up to a huge door. 2 black candles on either side of the stone steps dimly illuminate the chamber. You notice that no wax has melted, and as you get nearer, you can feel that they give off no heat. Ancient engravings cover the stone surfaces of the walls. And also this keyhole that looks like a leather mask and a keyhole gag. So that's something. Anxious to leave this evil tomb, you examine the door for a latch. An ornate pin appears to lock the door, but there's also a keyhole in the lock plate. We do not have a golden key. We do not have mind over matter, so I guess we just remove the pin. Just as you remove the ornate pin, a loud crack deafens you. Alright. Gotta roll 5 or better. Well, that's a 0. 0 to 4. Oof. All that remains of you now is embedded 5 feet into the stairs on which you were standing beneath a vast granite block. Your mission and your life ends here. Well, I guess that's over. We lose. Stream out. No, we can just hit back on that one. Willis, let me roll the dice again. There we go. We lost again. I'm going to keep rolling this until we succeed. Oh my god. Man, we're just fucked, huh? Holy crap. Oh my god. Entropy clusters. There. First try. Instinctively, you dive away from the stairs and land on the stone floor. Your quick reactions have saved your life, for a vast granite block has fallen from the ceiling and crushed the steps just in front of the lock plate. Shaken, but still in one piece, you get to your feet. One. A shaft of dull gray light is seeping into the chamber from above, where the stone block was. Through a hole in the ceiling, you can see a tangle of graveweed and the cloudy sky above. You clamber out of the tomb and head for the arched south gate of the necropolis as fast as possible. The pointed log walls of the city's outer defense works are now visible. Perfectly blocks the roll result. Oh, while it's rolling? That's why I've been trying to roll in the upper half as much as I can, but I guess it doesn't really help in that case. Oh, yeah. We'll figure something out next time. Actually, I've got an idea. Could move this over here and have the book over here. How's that look? Look at that. Perfect. And now we can turn to 61. Or one, yes, what a 61, says it there. At last you can reach the wooden fieldwork surrounding the outer city. As you race toward a sentry post, you can hear the excited shouts of the guards cheering you on. Thank the gods that they recognize you. +1. For you must appear a ragged and suspicious figure. Your cloak is torn and hangs in tatters, your face is scratched and blood-smeared, and the dust of the graveyard covers you from head to toe. Splashing through a shallow stream, you stagger toward the gate. The full horror of the graveyard encounter begins to catch up with you. The last thing you recall before exhaustion robs you consciousness is falling into the outstretched arms of 2 soldiers who have run from the fieldworks to help you. You black out for only a few minutes before you're revived with a measure of strong spirit. Feeling weary but thankful to be alive, you lean on the shoulders of the king's men and you stagger toward the outer defenses. Once more. As you reach the walls of the fieldworks, the large oak gates open, and you are quickly hurried inside. A sergeant, blood-stained and battle-weary, calls to an officer who turns and recognizes your cloak. "My lord," he says, "where are the other High Masters? We're in desperate need of their wisdom. The Dark Lords press us most cruelly, and casualties are high." You inform the brave officer of the terrible fate of your kinsman, and the urgency of your mission to seek the king's counsel. Without saying a word, he motions to a soldier to bring forward 2 horses. You both mount and gallop off toward the high city wall of Holmgard. HP again. Oh, no, we're at... Wait, no, that should be... 20... Yeah, we're at max now. Excellent. Perfect. You reach the main gates of the capital and stare in awe at the height of the city's walls. 200 feet high. The walls of Holmgard have withstood the ravages of both time and the Dark Lords. You and the officer race through the tunnel of the inner gatehouse, 100 yards in length, and finally halt outside the doorway to the main watchtower. Great crowds of soldiers and civilians are running to and fro. If you wish to continue following the officer, or feel like we stand a better chance of making our way to the King's Citadel on our own. What do y'all think? With the soldier, or just run off on our own? hell of a thing. It is a weird choice. Gotta be here for some reason, but what reason is that? Stay with him, says Bad Road. Alright, let's give it a go. Staying close to the officer, you follow him through an arched portal and up a short flight of stairs to a long hall. Soldiers run back and forth, bearing orders on ornate scrolls to officers stationed around the city wall. A haggard and scar-faced man dressed in the white and purple robes of the king's court approaches you and bids you follow him to the citadel. We can follow him or decline his offer and return to the crowded streets. Oh, really giving us an option to back out of this just like last time. Very interesting. In for a penny, in for a pound. All right. Let's follow. You follow the man into a small library off the main hall. He pushes one of the many books on shelves which line all four walls, and you hear a metallic click. One section of the bookcase slowly slides back to reveal a hidden passage. Secret bookshelf package! So we can follow him into the passage, or we can head back out and go to that section 144. Scary shit. We've come so far. All right. Let's follow him in. You walk for nearly 10 minutes along a dark and winding corridor, and then start to climb a steep staircase to a small wooden door. The man presses a secret catch and the door opens. You enter a large, plushly decorated bedroom with a huge marble bath that takes up one corner of the room. The man suggests that you refresh yourself here whilst he seeks an audience with the king. Have we ever asked this guy where he's going? No. He just decided to take us to a bedroom. I guess he figures we must be tourists. So, you know, the old B&B. You quickly bathe and change some white robes that have been left out on a large marble table. Shortly, the man returns and leads you through a long corridor lined with exquisite tapestries. You finally arrive at a large door guarded by two soldiers wearing silver armor. You enter the Chamber of State, a magnificent hall decorated lavishly in white and gold. The king and his closest advisors are studying a large map spread upon a marble plinth in the center of the chamber. Their faces are lined with worry and concentration. A silence fills the halls as you tell of the death of your kinsman and of your perilous journey to the citadel. As you finish your story, the king approaches and takes your right hand in his. Lone Wolf, you have selfless courage, the quality of a true Kai Lord. Your journey here has been one of great peril, and although your news comes as a grievous blow, the spirit of your determination is as a beacon of hope to us all in this dark hour. You have brought great honor to the memory of your masters, and for that we praise you. You receive the praise and heartfelt thanks of the entire hall, an honor that brings a certain redness to your young face. The king raises his hand and all voices cease. You have done all that Sommerland could have asked of a loyal son, but she is greatly in need of you still. The Dark Lords are powerful once more, and their ambition knows no bounds. Our only hope lies within Duranor, with the power that once defeated the Dark Lords an age ago. Lone Wolf, you are the last of the Kai. You have the skills. Will you journey to Duranor and return with the Sommersword, the Sword of the Sun? They always gonna say Sommersword, Sword of the Sun? It's pretty fun to say. Only with that gift of the gods may we crush this evil and save our lands. If you wish to accept the quest of the Sommersword, begin your adventure in Book 2 of the Lone Wolf Adventures, Fire on the Water. And let's just hit save there. Heck yeah. So I guess we'll start on the second book next time. I'm way early. I'm way early. But I've also been sick, so I don't give a fuck. Thanks everyone so much for coming. It's been lovely. I'm hoping to at least get through the first 5 books on stream before taking a break for something else. I think that'll be fun. Then we take a break and we'll go to the next 5 books and so on and so forth. If you want to support us, I would very much like you to head off to patreon.com/ifwhen. You'll get access to art, music, and of course a shout out at the end of each stream if you so desire. Thank you so much to our patrons Melly Basket, Andymonium, Green Sky, and Angelic. We've got a schedule over at truckcommunity.neocities.org. That's the whole team, not just this channel. Tomorrow's stream is going to be Alice with Donkey Kong Bonanza, if she's feeling up to it. And we've got our YouTube VOD channel over at @ifwhenvod on YouTube. I guess is youtube.com/@ifwhenvod. You know, for the URL form, it's on the screen there. Or it was. It got away from me. And that's terrible. And yeah, that's it. That's it for tonight. Thank you all so much for coming. My name too. I hate video games. I considered saying I hate books. But no, I'm not gonna say that. Books and video games are both very important things, but video games are easier to make fun of. Alright. Give my regards to the next frog you meet. Good night.